beginning with the basic concept in solving some simple equations. If I have the product of two things, A and B, equaling 0, then that means A would have to equal 0, and B would have to equal 0. Algebraically, two things might be two binomials, x plus 2 times x minus 3, equaling 0. Now, these are two things, just like A and B. So the temptation would be to multiply those out with FOIL. But there's no need, because it's already the product of two things. So x plus 2, being like A, is going to equal 0. And x minus 3, being like B, is going to equal 0. Which reveals x plus x equaling negative 2 and x equaling 3. Done. Now, in the event we have something like x squared plus 4x plus 3 equaling 0, well, certainly that could be made to be looking like that if we factor it, which we can do simply enough. We know factors in the two groups. It's still going to equal 0. And of course, the thing that we want, we'll split that x and the x, that x squared and the x and the x. Since the last sign is positive, both will take the sign of the middle, namely plus. Two factors multiplying in 3, adding to 4 are 3 and 1. Factor. Now, two things, the product equaling 0, set them both to equal 0. X plus 3 equals 0. X plus 1 equals 0, resulting in x equaling negative 3, x equaling negative 1. Not so bad, right? Well, what if you had something like x to the third power minus 9x set equal to 0? Well, if we recall our factoring, we can see there's a common factor, x. X can be removed, taken out. Then we have x squared minus 9. And that should be recognized. This, x squared minus 9, is a difference of squares. Factored to x plus 3 and x minus 3. Don't forget the x up front, setting it equal to 0. Now we have three things equaling 0. No problem. X equals 0, that is a solution. X equals negative 3. And x equals positive 3. Three solutions. Highest power, 3. Three solutions. There is a connection. Okay. Now, we have something like, okay, another expression. Give us 3x squared plus 8x minus 3 equaling 0. We switch the minds, we could have two solutions. How are we going to find the two solutions? By finding the two factors, implying that this needs the factor. We're going to factor it, set it equal to 0. Now, we need to play with the factors of 3, this 3, and this 3, but nicely it's a prime number, so we've got to go with the 3x here and an x over here. Now we've got to get an 8x in the middle, and we've got the factors of 3 to play around with here. Well, we've got if we put a 3 here and a 1 over here, we have to remember our signs. Negative sign at the end means we get a positive and negative group. Okay, which one goes positive? Which one goes negative? Well, put the positive here, negative here, check your factors. Okay, the inside loop yields negative 1x. The outside loop, this is the little abbreviation of the FOIL. It's just the first, remember FOIL is first, outer, inner, last. Well, if we want to just check for that middle term, the inside 2, negative 1x, the outside 2, okay, positive 9x. Well, that gives us collectively the 8x we want. So that's good. This is factored properly. Okay, and I can erase that. That's just a check. It's not a bad idea to check it. So now these two factors are equal to 0. So individually, 3x minus 1 is set equal to 0. X plus 3 is equal to 0. Now we have simple equations. 3x equaling 1, implying x is equal to 1/3. And of course, this is just x equals negative 3. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 equations, all solved by factoring, okay, using the basic idea that if we can write it as a series of factors, each of the individual factors can be set equal to 0, creating two simpler equations, in this case 3 simpler equations, from the more slightly more sophisticated equation. Okay, there's our first lesson.